If you clicked on this video, you want book recommendations for artists, so let's get right into it. The Art of Creative Thinking by Rod Judkins, written in a way that you don't even have to read it in order. It's a bunch of little stories, and then each end of the chapter has very memorable quotes. The end of each chapter: if you like to doubt, you'll love ignorance, on page 128. Less, if you've had enough of self-doubt for now, try page 77. So you can totally follow those prompts and jump all around in this book. It's a bunch of stories about artists and their life and perseverance, and what I like about this is it's not just for artists. It's also just like how to make dinner in a new way, how to live your life more creatively, just make your life more exciting. Of course it is geared towards artists, but I think really anyone could enjoy this book. A scuba diving company faces bankruptcy because sharks have infested the area. Solution? Open the world's first extreme diving school. It's almost like if you're hitting roadblocks in life, this book will give you ways to kind of think more creatively, to go down a new path or keep going with your idea. Rod Judkins of the world-famous St. Martin's College of Art has studied successful creative thinkers from every walk of life throughout history, drawing on an extraordinary range of reference points. Dada Manifesto to Nobel Prize-winning economists, from Andy Warhol's studio to Einstein's desk, he distills a lifetime of expertise into a succinct, I don't know how to say this word, I'm going to put it on the screen. You'll realize why you should be happy when your train is cancelled. Meet the most successful class in educational history, in which every single student won a Nobel Prize. Learn why in the 21st century it's technically illegal to be as good as Michelangelo. Absolutely love this one. If you are into shorter reads like this is How to Be an Artist by Jerry Saltz. I picked this up at the art gallery in Toronto. There's the opening. It's kind of, again, lots of different helpful points like that. Tell your own story and you will be interesting. Finish the damn thing. Every lecture I give, every gallery I visit, people ask me for advice. What most of them are really asking is, how can I be an artist? How can you get from wondering and worrying to making real art? Art allows us all to access experiences and states that feel deeply human, important, pleasurable, yet sometimes very other. Step 1. You are a total amateur. Step 2. How to actually begin. This book also comes with different exercises, so it's very applicable. I can't find step 3 in here right now, but step 4 is enter the world. So it really breaks things down step by step. As somebody who, if you know me on this channel as a resin artist, I've been a dancer my whole life, I'm an actor, I make music, so when I say artist, I really mean like all different fields, and I think that these books apply to all of that. Next one is one of my absolute favorites of all time, and I actually saw a quote of it on somebody's Instagram story, and I was like, what is that? I need it. It's called I Work Like a Gardener, and I'm not exactly sure how you say this author's name. I don't want to mess it up. Miro? Sorry. Main takeaway from this book, which I love: art projects don't need to just be start to finish. Like, you can kind of work like a garden, so you could have a song in the works here, a painting in the works here, and just kind of like water them as you go about, and think of your studio or your space or your creative space in your mind as like a garden that you're kind of just watering and working at things and watching it grow and flourish. And I thought that was just such a beautiful way to look at it. Yeah, there's all different gorgeous paintings in here. For me, an object is alive. This cigarette, this matchbox contain a secret life much more intense than that of most humans. I see a tree, I get a shock as if it were something breathing, talking. A tree too is something human. Stillness strikes me. This bottle, this glass, a large stone on a deserted beach. There are motionless things, but they set in motion great movements in my mind. I mean, come on. Such a small book with such a big impact. You knew this book was going to be in here, but I have to get it out of the way. I'm sorry. The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. I see this book all over the internet, and I actually learned about it from Jenna Fisher, who plays Pam in The Office. She has an autobiography, and it talks about like life as an actor and how to actually get started. It's like personal stories mixed with industry things that you should know. It's actually one of the best industry books that I've ever read. She recommended this, and what's cool is it's set up in the way of a course. So the first time I read it, I just read it all the way through, and now I'm going back and actually doing it week by week, but there was just so much good information that I couldn't put it down, and I finished it all like a regular book. Pretty much saved something on almost every single page. If I'm honest, I'm happy I picked this book up a little bit later in life, because it does discuss like creation with the universe, and she even says this, like she means the universe when she says God, and that's how I view things. Growing up, I was very atheist, so I think had I read the word God in this book, I would have put it down immediately, and I was very close-minded as a teenager in terms of like universe, God, whatever. I was very turned off from like religion or even the word God. But now that I'm older and I have different views on life and the world, this really is something cool. And if you're feeling like I don't want to read about the word God and stuff like that, I promise you it's so worth it. And finding your connection to God, universe, whatever that is, will help you immensely with your creativity, because my life has completely changed since finding my relationship with a higher power. Applicable. It's so amazing. I don't even think I can really summarize this book, but I think if you're going to read anything, this is definitely the one you need to pick up. It guides the reader through a fascinating and fun 12-week-long program of exercises and explorations that help loosen up one's artistic self. So especially if you are feeling creative block, writer's block, whatever it is, this will help you uncover that. Felt like took away a lot of guilt, like, oh, I'm starting too late, or I don't have the right skill set, whatever. It takes away the guilt and focuses purely on you and your creativity. Now, the other books I've recommended are beautiful if you're trying to get inspired by other people, but I think this one is so important for your own self-discovery. And even though there's still like stories and personal things written in here from the author, it's really about your own journey with this one. So there's like tons of text, and then there's also quotes along the side. I feel like those quotes are just in like every creative book. And then there's also exercises at the end. There's like homework in a way, tasks. It gives you questions to answer. Letters to a Young Poet. Again, don't want to butcher the name, so there we go. There is a period in life of every artist when his whole being seems lost in a contemplation of the surrounding world, when the application to work is difficult, like the violent forcing of something that is awaiting its time. This is the time of his dream, as sacred as the days of spring before wind and rain and light have touched the fruits of the fields, when there is a tense, bleak silence over the whole of nature, in which is wrapped the strength of storms and the glow of the summer's sun. Upon this dream and its guarding depends on the final realization of his life's work. As you can see also with this one, annotated a lot. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Young Franz Xaver Capus wrote to Rainer Maria Rilke. I'm going to put their names on the screen. Their delight, the poet replied. They continued a correspondence that lasted for nearly 6 years. The following are 10 letters Rilke wrote to Capus, advising the young man on poetry and on life. A very beautiful collection of letters. Be patient and without bitterness, and realize that the least we can do is to make coming into existence no more difficult for him than the earth does for spring when it wants to come. It is also good to love, because love is difficult. For one human being to love another human being, that is perhaps the most difficult task that has been entrusted on us, the ultimate task, the final test and proof, the work for which all other work is merely preparation. Don't observe yourself too closely. Don't be too quick to draw conclusions from what happens to you. Simply let it happen. This one isn't about art necessarily, but this is Atlas of the Heart by Brené Brown. I remember obsessively reading this when I broke my leg and I was stuck in bed, and it really just maps out human emotions. These are chapter titles. Places we go when we compare. Comparison, admiration, reverence, envy, jealousy, resentment. Places we go when we're hurting, places we go with others, places we go when we fall short, shame, comparison, perfectionism. So it's kind of like the positive and negative emotions under each category more so. And it just kind of like maps out the human experience. It's more like psychology based, I would say, but I still think it's like a beautiful way to get in touch with emotions. I learned a lot from this book. True belonging doesn't require you to change who you are. It requires you to be who you are. And the last thing I'll recommend is, if you are feeling stuck creatively, is pick up one of these kind of books, this 500 writing prompts book. And I do find like the spaces to write quite small. Like, I honestly would have been fine with just a list of things rather than that. I mean, I guess that could also be the challenge in itself, is can you fit your ideas in just a little paragraph if you want to do that and challenge yourself. But I just kind of use it as like different prompts, so I could use it to write a song, I could use it to journal. I personally appreciate books and tangible things. I've noticed that with planning my content, as I plan a lot on like my notes app on my phone, which is great, but then I always get distracted. I get a notification and I click it and I go on an app, and the next thing you know, I'm not doing what I need to be doing. I feel like deep down I like the more old school like books and writing, and I don't mind typing, but I think I'd have to like shut off the internet from my laptop in order to type. You could look up 500 writing prompts on Pinterest, so what's the point of buying a book? But I just think having, like I said, something tangible that could get you away from distraction is very helpful. As a notification on my phone just went off and I looked at it. I hate it. Making a video about like fixing my focus, because last night I slept the best I've slept forever, and it's because I read. I think it's because I read before I went to bed. I didn't scroll, and then I've been waking up and not going on my phone. That used to be my rule for myself, and I've let myself slip from it. All of us can kind of reset our attention spans together, so I'm going to be working on that one. But yeah, if you got anything from this video, please leave me a like so we can help the algorithm recommend more artist books to artists out there. If you want a part 2, let me know. I always have more recommendations. I'm a huge reader, and I obviously am an artist myself. Let me know if any of these have helped you, or if any of them do end up helping you. And if you have read The Artist's Way, please let me know down below, because I would love to find more people out there that have read it. I just think it's incredible. So thank you so much for being here, and subscribe if you want more artist lifestyle content, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!